trapped in an endless highway of horrors. The moon barely illuminates the road, casting long, sinister shadows. The atmosphere is thick with tension, setting the stage for the chilling tale to unfold. Ethan, an ordinary man with a calm demeanor, is driving home after a long day. His tired eyes reflect the monotony of his routine. His car headlights pierce through the darkness, offering a false sense of security. Unbeknownst to him, the night holds a terrifying surprise that will shatter his normalcy. The highway he travels is isolated, surrounded by dense forests that seem to close in on him. No other cars are in sight, heightening the sense of solitude. The silence is deafening, broken only by the hum of his car engine. This remote stretch of road is the perfect setting for an unsettling experience. As Ethan navigates the lonely road, he notices his GPS flickering. The screen flashes erratically before losing signal entirely. Confused, he taps the device, but it remains stubbornly unresponsive. A sense of unease creeps in, but he brushes it off, attributing it to a minor technical glitch. Minutes later, a startling realization dawns on Ethan. He has been driving past the same landmarks repeatedly. Trees with distinctive shapes and peculiar road signs reappear like a haunting déjà vu. His heart races as the familiar becomes strange. The repetitive scenery suggests he is trapped in an inexplicable loop. Ethan starts feeling uneasy but tries to rationalize it. He tells himself fatigue is playing tricks on his mind. The landmarks he's seen multiple times must be coincidences, right? Shaking off the unease, he grips the steering wheel tighter, focusing on the road ahead, eager to get home. He checks his watch, expecting hours to have passed, but it's only been 10 minutes. Confusion intertwines with his growing fear. How could time move so slowly? Doubts creep into his mind. Is he dreaming, or has he slipped into some strange, nightmarish reality? Suddenly, a thick fog engulfs the road, reducing visibility to almost nothing. The headlights barely pierce through the dense mist. Ethan's heart races, palms sweating against the steering wheel. The fog feels unnatural, as if it's alive, swallowing him into an abyss of uncertainty. Amid the suffocating fog, John hears strange noises emanating from the woods. Twigs snapping, eerie whispers, and distant, unidentifiable sounds send chills down his spine. His rational mind struggles to dismiss the noises, but each sound feels like a sinister presence, lurking just out of sight, waiting. A shadowy figure appears briefly in his rearview mirror, vanishing as quickly as it appeared. Panic surges through him, and he presses the gas pedal harder. His mind races with questions. Who or what was that? His fear escalates, pushing him to escape the relentless loop. Ethan pushes the accelerator, desperation fueling his need to escape the unnerving cycle. His car lunges forward, tires screeching against the asphalt. The landscape blurs, but nothing changes. The same twisted trees and eerie silence surround him. With each passing second, the feeling of being trapped intensifies. The car radio suddenly crackles to life, filling the vehicle with distorted, otherworldly voices. Ethan's heart races as he fumbles with the dials, trying to silence the unsettling noise. No matter what he does, the static and whisper symphony continues, adding to the mounting dread enveloping him. Ethan's phone, his last connection to the outside world, betrays him next. The battery icon plummets from half full to empty in mere moments, leaving him in complete isolation. Panic sets in as he realizes he can no longer call for help or use his GPS to navigate. Determined to break free, Ethan makes a U-turn, hoping to retrace his steps. But the highway stretches endlessly in both directions, each mile identical to the last. The sense of hopelessness is overwhelming as he speeds down the road, feeling more lost than ever before. The car's engine starts to sputter and cough, forcing Ethan to pull over to the shoulder. He steps out into the cold, oppressive night, gripping his flashlight tightly. The beam flickers ominously, casting fleeting, ghostly shadows around him. He desperately inspects the engine, but nothing seems amiss. Ethan steps out of the car, his heart pounding in his chest. He clutches a small flashlight, its beam slicing through the dense fog. The night air is thick and cold, wrapping around him like a shroud. He approaches the front of the car, hoping for a simple solution. The flashlight flickers ominously, casting ghostly shadows on the road. Ethan's breath catches as he catches glimpses of ethereal forms dancing just beyond the light's reach. A chill runs down his spine, and he feels an overwhelming sense of dread. The apparitions seem to whisper secrets he cannot comprehend. From the darkness, whispers begin to emerge, soft at first but growing louder. They call his name, each syllable dripping with malice. Ethan's hands tremble as he swings the flashlight around, desperate to identify the source. His mind races, struggling to maintain a grip on reality. Panic takes hold as John realizes he is not alone. The whispers grow insistent, echoing in his ears and filling him with terror. He bolts back towards the car, only to find the doors inexplicably locked from the inside. His fists pound against the windows, eyes wide with fear. As if in response to his desperation, the car engine roars back to life. The doors unlock with a loud click, and Ethan scrambles inside, slamming them shut behind him. He grips the steering wheel, heart racing, and speeds off into the night, a haunting presence lingering in his mind. Ethan frantically bangs on the windows, desperate to escape the oppressive darkness. The feeling of a presence behind him intensifies, making his heart race. He glances over his shoulder but sees only shadows. Panic surges through him as he realizes he might be trapped in this nightmare forever. Just when all hope seems lost, the car engine roars back to life, startling him. The doors unlock with a loud click, and John wastes no time jumping inside. Trembling, he slams the door shut, his mind reeling from the terror of the unseen entity lurking in the night. Ethan drives off, his heart pounding as he grips the steering wheel tightly. He glances at the clock and is shocked to see only 20 minutes have passed. It feels impossible, given the harrowing ordeal he just experienced. The fog begins to lift, but the road remains unsettlingly unfamiliar. Determined to find safety, Ethan spots a sign for a rest area and decides to stop. The hope of finding other people or a working phone drives him forward. He pulls into the decrepit rest area, its abandoned and eerie appearance doing little to calm his nerves. As he steps out and approaches an old payphone, he dials 911 with trembling fingers, but the line is dead. His eyes catch strange symbols etched into the booth, adding to his growing unease. He senses eyes watching him, making his skin crawl with dread. Ethan sees a sign for a rest area and decides to stop, his hands trembling on the steering wheel. The idea of a brief respite from the endless, haunting highway feels like a lifeline. He pulls in, hoping for a moment of peace to gather his thoughts and regain his composure. The rest area appears abandoned and decrepit, with overgrown weeds and cracked pavement. Broken streetlights cast eerie shadows, and the air feels heavy with an unsettling stillness. Ethan steps out, feeling a chill run down his spine. The silence is almost deafening, amplifying his growing sense of dread. He finds an old payphone and dials 911, his fingers shaking. Each ring echoes ominously in the empty space, heightening his anxiety. After what feels like an eternity, he realizes the line is dead. The sense of isolation deepens, and fear starts to claw at his sanity. Strange symbols are etched into the payphone booth, their meanings inscrutable and disturbing. Ethan traces them with his fingers, feeling an inexplicable sense of foreboding. The symbols seem ancient, as if they hold secrets of long-forgotten horrors. His mind races with questions, but answers remain elusive and terrifying. He senses eyes watching him from the shadows, an almost palpable presence that makes his skin crawl. Every rustle of leaves and creak of branches feels like a sinister whisper. Ethan's heart pounds in his chest as he fights the urge to flee. He knows he must leave the rest area immediately. Ethan gets back in the car, determined to escape the nightmarish loop. His hands tremble as he grips the steering wheel, his mind racing with fear and desperation. He slams the accelerator, hoping speed will break whatever curse binds him to this eerie highway. The road ahead seems to stretch infinitely, no end in sight. Darkness envelops him as the car's headlights barely pierce through the oppressive gloom. Ethan squints, searching for any sign of civilization, but the landscape remains a desolate blur, mocking his efforts to escape. He starts seeing hallucinations, faces in the trees, hands reaching for him from the shadows. His mind, already frayed, struggles to distinguish reality from illusion. Each ghostly vision intensifies his panic, pushing him closer to the brink of madness. Ethan's sanity begins to unravel as he questions the very fabric of his reality. Is he trapped in an endless nightmare, or has he crossed into some otherworldly dimension? Every passing second feels like an eternity, driving him deeper into despair and confusion. Suddenly the loop breaks and he finds himself on a familiar road. The oppressive darkness lifts, and the haunting visions vanish. Relief floods through him, but the experience leaves an indelible mark. Ethan checks the time. Half an hour has passed, but it felt like an eternity. Ethan finally breaks free from the harrowing loop and finds himself on a familiar road. The sense of relief is overwhelming, though he remains on edge. Glancing at the clock, he's shocked to realize only half an hour has passed. The experience felt like an eternity trapped in a nightmare. Reaching home, Ethan stumbles through the door, his mind still reeling from the ordeal. His eyes dart around the room, searching for any lingering signs of the terror he faced. His hands tremble as he locks the door behind him, hoping to shut out the memories. Ethan's friends and family quickly notice the change in him. The once jovial and carefree man now carries an air of unease. His laughter is rare, replaced by a haunted look in his eyes. Concerned, they try to help, but the trauma seems deeply embedded. He spends hours staring blankly at the highway from his window, replaying the events in his mind. The familiar road outside now holds an ominous presence. Sleep eludes him, as nightmares of the endless highway loop invade his dreams, making rest a distant memory. To the viewers, the eerie tale serves as a chilling reminder of the unknown lurking in the dark. Encouraging engagement, the narrator invites them to like, subscribe, and share their own scary stories. The final message is clear. Always stay vigilant, for the road holds many secrets. Ethan's life becomes a shadow of its former self, each day tinged with an unshakable dread. The once vibrant man now avoids driving at night and flinches at sudden noises. His nights are plagued by nightmares, the haunting highway forever etched in his memory, a relentless reminder of his brush with terror.